but how can you mess up showing two of the game's greats at the Skybox? First off, I seriously sit on my couch and horse laugh every time I watch this guy because he took the bump last night and pitched against the Seattle Mariners, and then he hits third in the lineup. It's like he's playing travel baseball, 12U travel baseball or Little League or Ripken or whatever. He is doing things, and he's got 13 bombs, by the way, and we haven't even discussed that, in a league that is filled with guys that I don't know. I get it. The pitching is through the roof, and I appreciate the high velocity, but there are way too many dudes hitting sub 200 in the middle of June. I don't know how they stay in the big leagues. I would have been sent down to Richmond 15 different times if I was hitting $1.46. It's crazy to me. But these two guys are worth the price of admission every time out. So I want to dive in on Ohtani first, and I want to keep my focus on the pitching because I watched him go about it a little bit differently last night. Matt Vasgersian, Mark Gubicza do a tremendous job of giving you a little bit of an analytic-driven broadcast, and he's going to face Julio Rodriguez, one of the best young players in the game. And what is Julio thinking when he comes into this matchup? If you've watched Ohtani, he does like to mix his pitches. Pause this for me. Bring up the board, if you can, McVay, on his pitch percentages right here. Because when you watch him, he does give you a steady diet of everything. But every time I've watched him, it's elevated heater, and he really falls in love with his split from time to time, which is a wipeout pitch. Not so many sliders. I know it says 28%, but when you watch him, he'll occasionally scrap that pitch and go heater split a lot. Last night, from the first inning, he had his breaking ball on lockdown, and he used it 41% of the time. So I'm thinking to myself, if I'm Julio Rodriguez, I want to get on a high heater and not get tunneled on that nasty split. So let's dive in. This is first at bat, bottom of the first. And it is slider after slider after slider. There's a high cutter to get it to 2-0. 2-0, you're sitting heater. Swings through a nasty slider right here. 2-1, maybe a heater here. Nope, slider again, and he's on top of it. So Ohtani's saying to himself, why would I deviate? Let me weeds another slider down and away, and he gets the chase. And Julio Rodriguez is a great young player, but who's going to lay off that pitch? He chases 36% of the time, Julio Rodriguez. So there is a little chase in his game. So he's not going to deviate second time up. 2-1, pause this real quick. I'm saying to myself, he has shown you 8 pitches, 7 sliders. You almost got to pot commit to the pitch now, right? You got to give up. This is the one pitch I thought he should have absolutely crushed. This is a hanger over the middle of the plate, but he's not buying into it, and he just stays with the slider all night long against Julio Rodriguez. Split there, get right back to the slider off the end of the bat. So it reminded me of sitting next to Greg Maddux. You can pause this real quick before we get into Trout. Greg Maddux used to say, if I show you a pitch and I don't think you can hit it, why am I going to set you up and deviate from it? If you can't hit a two-seam fastball, I'm not going to give you something else to set up the two-seam fastball. I'm going to throw you two-seam fastballs all night long until you prove to me you can hit it. And that's kind of what I saw last night with Ohtani. He knew he had a good feel for his breaking stuff. He wasn't going to deviate against it, and Julio Rodriguez saw 8 of 9 pitches in those first 2 at-bats, and they were all sliders. His third at-bat, he threw him a little split sink, first pitch swing, and ground out to short. So a great young hitter. I don't want to say not making the adjustment. I'm going to lock in more on Ohtani being really good and having a nice feel for his breaking stuff last night. Okay, Mike Trout. Let's dive into Mike Trout, because we can take it back. George Kirby, God bless your heart, 1-0. I love the fact that you throw 98 miles an hour, but run that back for me real quick. Mike Trout is certainly not in position here. He's coming out of a little slide, so he's not going to cheat to anything. This is a 1-0 two-seamer, middle of the plate at 95 miles an hour, and he just pops it up to right field. Okay, so that's the first of many. He's going to give him a 2-0 lead. He's going to the bridge again in this game off Sergio Romo. Sergio, I played with you a long time. Don't you dare throw anything but a slider. That's all he's ever thrown. Run that back for me. Except for that Miguel Cabrera to end the World Series. where he locked him up with a heater. You ain't locking Mike Trout up with a heater. 1-1, middle of the plate, and I'm saying to myself, every time I see Mike Trout play in T-Mobile Park, he goes absolutely bridge. I take you all the way back to when he first broke into the league. It has been a steady diet of him dominating the Seattle Mariners, okay? He's got 30 home runs in T-Mobile Park. Mark Teixeira is second closest to him with 19. And the most home runs versus the Mariners, Rafael Palmeiro's got 52. Mike Trout's got 49 bombs. And look at it. We talk about guys, the evolution. Run this real quick. There he is in 2011, sticking his nose in there as a young player. Not totally staying back, but he's so strong and explosive. And then last night, standing up tall, being his most athletic self, and just firing on every baseball. And we're going to change the name. It's no longer T-Mobile Park. It's Trout Park, okay? And he talked about the backdrop. I think this stuff is interesting because it played a part in my career and many other guys' careers. He talked about seeing the ball real well, and he talked about the backdrop being perfect. And all you want is it just to be black or green or just one static color where you got your singular focus is on the pitcher. There's a few parks that you'll go to. Minute Maid, for example. There's a lot happening behind you in center field. Or Wrigley Field on a day game if the sun's hitting the scoreboard and there's fans back there. There's a lot going on. The parks I love, Miller Park, that huge green extension up to the Jumbotron. Arizona, it's nothing but a big green-black wall behind you where you pick up spin, you're looking for laces. Obviously, he sees the ball like no other against the Mariners.
How about Dodger Stadium at night? It's complete darkness.
I never had a problem seeing there, but thinking about it, it's not the best backdrop. They do throw that black screen up there, but they've since changed it.
They have.
Yeah.
They got that lounge going on.
Yeah.
They're hitting beats back there.
You said coming off a slide, you're never cheating to anything. Is that just Mike Trout or everyone?
Well, I think how do you get back, right? You got to give to get a little bit. So if you're in a little 0 for 26 slide, what's the best thing to do? You want to tell yourself, I want to get jammed. I want to let the ball get deep. I don't want to cheat and get out off on my front side. So what you do is you almost stay back a little bit longer and you're looking to shoot something up the middle the other way. And once you get that back, it kind of opens everything up.